Hi, my name is Rich. I use the he, him pronouns. You're watching my YouTube channel where I play amazing tabletop role playing games with friends. This is part of the coming up on 3-year long anthology campaign that I've been running with the Gauntlet community, which is a wonderful community worldwide of folks who love small press, indie, and OSR tabletop role playing games. And this series that I've been running, Star Wars Saturdays, it's really fun. As I said, it's an anthology series. So every month I choose a different RPG. So far, none of them have been officially licensed Star Wars RPGs. And we hack it up or reskin it a little bit so that it fits in some part of Star Wars galaxy and tell a story. And every month, new folks will come in from the Gauntlet community, make characters, and then we play the game together. We are currently on the third of 4 sessions of the game originally titled Ross Rifles. Ross Rifles is from Dundas West Games. It is a game about the World War I experience of the Canadian Expeditionary Force, and it's a fascinating historical oriented game, which I've reskinned for Star Wars because the premise, Star Wars Saturdays. So we have experienced trench warfare, and we've also experienced that it is very easy to get foobarred in this game, and we lost a character last week, and someone brought in a replacement. Josh was with us for that session and that session alone, and we continue on. Sabine has returned, so Sabine's character Grask will be resuming their post, and we'll figure out where Grask was during the period of loss. So a couple of things before we introduce characters to remind us of our safety tools. We do have lines and veils, and we also have on another bit on top of that, we have lines, which means this is subjects we're not interested in exploring. The lines are sexual assault, sexual violence and coercion, domestic violence, and torture by PCs. We have a veil on sexual content, which means that if the thing happens, then we just fade to black or quickly cut away. Oh, I just missed it. It didn't move it up. I normally do, but we also have a line against cannibalism. Okay with that. Ask firsts, which means that contextually this could be okay, this particular content, but we each of us are asking, could you check in with the group before you introduce it? So if you have an idea, and check and make sure on these things and say, hey, this might touch on so-and-so. And if anyone says, can you try it a different way? Then we just try it a different way. And if you're like, that's the only idea I had, just source the table. Okay, cool. I can't think of anything else. Can someone help me? Anyone have ideas? Cody probably will, which is great. I love that. If not, Sabine Anders will. Childhood abandonment, suicide, and harm to children are the 3 ask first. And that's just keep each other honest on that one. And if someone blunders into the territory, by someone, I mean possibly me, please forgive me. I'm doing this with the best of intentions. And then on top of the lines and veils, we have the X card, which is the thing that we lay down if we didn't expect that we would hit this content, or for whatever reason it's something you don't want to deal with or don't want to deal with anymore. Just say, hey, I need to X card this thing. Just make an X, type it into the chat, although I don't always have a chance to read the chat. So just, Rich, can you check the chat? Anything along those lines. We'll pause play. I won't challenge you on what you've X carded. Won't ask you to explain yourself because you've already had to X card. That's enough. You don't have to defend it, but I just may ask a question of, when you X carded, was it this that was being X carded, if it's not clear to me. And then we'll excise it from our play and move on. So I assume we are all good to go because we've all played before. So hopefully we can proceed. And if not, just say something and we will pause. I'll even turn off the recording so we can chat about stuff. It is a-okay. Let's go around the horn and introduce ourselves and remind ourselves of our characters. So let's go from right to left on our character keeper. Sabine, introduce yourself. Tell us about our character.
Hi, my name is Sabine. I use any pronouns, and I'm playing Grask Charvel, who uses he, him pronouns. Grask is a weak way with a very colorful life history, I think. And right now he has been somehow managed to get himself into the trench warfare, even though he's basically a pilot, but yeah, he has a problem with authority. He has that, and sometimes he has a hard time making himself heard. So now he's here in the trench and he hates it. He also has this boss droid, 17. Was it 17? I think it was 17.
Yeah, 17.
17. It's the only boss droid from a swarm, and it is very sad that it doesn't have a swarm anymore and feels lost a bit. It has kind of seems to like Grask, and Grask seems to like it. Well, they're basically a team. Liking is maybe a bit too strong a word.
We'll see. Thank you very much. Next, we have Cody. Introduce yourself. Tell us about your character.
Hey, I'm Cody. I use the he, him pronouns, and I'm playing Sergeant Kent Randar, also uses he, him pronouns. Kent Randar is a human veteran of the rebellion. Now he's fighting on a part of the New Republic here on the planet that they are currently entrenched in for the past couple of years. He has been he's been around the block. He's carrying with him the personal objects of soldiers they've lost before. You can tell he's kind of bearing that weight on his shoulders, but he pushes on, hoping to see victory at the end.
Thank you very much, Cody. And last but certainly not least is Anders.
Hello, I'm Anders, he, him. I am playing B1NX, also known as Binks, who is commando droid, originally constructed for the Clone Wars, and who has fought in pretty much every war since then. He fought for the Empire, now he's fighting against the Empire. He carries with him his the restraining bolt the Empire used on him, and he has somewhat, perhaps inadvisedly, interfaced with the brain of one of his previous comrades, another commando droid. So now he uses they, them pronouns, which he didn't particularly care about before.
Yeah, Civi, that's a thing that also happened during last session. So the section, oh man, I actually named your section in a thing, and I don't remember what I put. So I'm gonna quickly go through. Man, I should have prepped this. Oh, I'm bad. Here we go. Of 10-esque Peth. That is the name of your section that uses a little bit of Vabesh. So I'll write that down. There we go. The section 10-esque Peth, you guys were tasked with taking down a battery of assault cannons that were blocking the way for some Republic tanks. It was a costly victory, but you did take down those assault cannons, and that allowed the tanks to move forward. And as those tanks were progressing, gave you guys a bit of cover because there was an X-wing fighter pilot who was downed, and she had important intel on troop movements and the like. She was running some recons over Lavasar. You guys found the crash site and rescued her. That was Lieutenant Gemma Foti. You met up with your lieutenant of the sector, and as promised, you guys were able to rotate out. So intel for what you understand happened after the battle where you guys moved on the lines is that the Republic forces have moved up to Pilar, which is the name of the river that runs alongside or just on the border of Lavasar, of Cyward, which is the primary spaceport of Lavasar. The planet of Lavasar is also where Skyrung Manufacturing is headquartered. And if you look in the NPCs and places, we'll say that this is maybe like a little bit of intel that was shared with you by Gemma Fodi from the data rod that she had entrusted to the private in your section, and then he was able to give it back to her. She took a pretty heavy wound to her leg, so she is also going to be convalescing or recuperating, one might say, in the field hospital. But yeah, if you guys look in the NPCs and places, starting around column K is Cyward, row 8. There's a picture of what Cyward looks like with Skyrung Manufacturing and the Imperial Fortress, the aforementioned fortress that we talked about at the top of our mission. Yeah, if you guys could have used a better pilot, absolutely. You know, somebody knew how to fly a Y-wing or something like that. Could have been a good idea. So let's pick up with Grask Tarvo, because for some reason our once officer, now Private Grask Tarvo, was not involved in last week or just a short time ago's assaults. So what happened with Grask? What do you think he was up to?
I think what he was up to was trying to get to some kind. I think he went through some bureaucratic shenanigans to get the squad some better equipment, and he had to talk to people, and he talked to some other people, and sadly enough they weren't on the front. Oh, how sad. And so he missed all the action, which is he is totally bummed about. Yeah, right. Yeah, I think he just mainly was talking to people and talking to some other people, and then when the command, the order came to move out, he wasn't there because he was doing something that he should have been doing ish. So it wasn't precisely that he defied orders or anything. Could have been more enthusiastic in getting back. Yeah, but he thought he had, and then they were gone, and he was like, oh, damn, I will surely be here and keep the morale up in the trenches where we are still. So, yay. And I got us some booze, so that was nice, right? Yeah, that was nice. Not just for me.
Not just for you.
Not just, no. I'm sharing mostly. Yeah, I'm sharing because these people, these guys, they keep me alive. So I'm sharing. That's a fair trade.
So we'll pick up with some time passing, primarily so that some of the wounds can be healed by Bacta, but also Binks had to kind of grab a mismatched leg to make things happen. So we will kind of check in on each of you. So you have been pulled off of the front lines as you rotated out. The Imperial trenches are now the front lines, and those Imperial trenches are right on the border. Those were trenches that were facing towards you guys before, and your brother sister sections have all filled in those Imperial trenches, and now you're preparing for a final assault on Cyward. You need to find ways across the Pilar. It is a pretty fast-moving river, and all the bridges have been destroyed during the year plus long siege of this particular spaceport. The area that your section, 10 Eskpeth, has been pulled back to is this smaller town that a couple of years ago was effectively like a suburb of Cyward. It had a number of facilities that now have suffered from bombs from TIE bombers trying to press things down. So there are very few fully intact windows. The Duracrete often have pockmarks or areas that have been blown. But as you guys have pushed harder towards Cyward, some of the repairs have held. So there are some patchwork repairs in a field hospital that has been set up. The field hospital, here's Binks, what was this large building that is now a quickly utilized Republic field hospital? What was this large building originally created for in this suburb of Syward?
I think it was some kind of like a sports, I don't know what you call it, a stadium.
Okay.
Not open, but like a hockey rink or something. That sort of, I mean, a enclosed building, but big and mostly open inside.
Oh, cool. I like that. So the sunlight will pour in over certain places where, you know, bombs were dropped through, and you see there are a few craters, but they just kind of move around all of that. We'll say that, I don't know, Cody, what was the sport being our Star Wars sports, our Star Wars, you know the stars and the wars. What do you have a particular sport that you think was played here?
Well, hutball is an older sport, but it lingers on in the Outer Rim. Long history of hutball since the Old Republic. Truly, that is the only sport I can think of off the top of my head.
Hutball. Is that a Cody thing, or is that an actual thing? I'm really curious.
That is a real sport from Star Wars: The Old Republic.
Oh my lord, hutball, a dangerous sport popular on Nar Shaddaa during the Old Republic era. That is awesome.
It's like Blood Bowl if you're into Warhammer, or just American football with a lot more violence.
Nice. The game pitted two randomly selected teams against one another in a no-holds-barred attempt to gain possession of the ball and bring it into the opposing team's camp. Violence and cheating were encouraged in hutball. Yeah, it sounds very... Yeah. That's great.
It's what I got.
It's awesome. That's awesome. Who knew that Syward was a place where they had a amateur hutball league here, and they had you could see all of the symbols for the Skyrung manufacturing around here. They had authorized the construction of this stadium, probably for a different sport, and then it just kind of gravitated towards hutball at some time. Cool. I like it a lot. So I'm sorry, Binks. You're going to be upset when I tell you when I tell everyone this, but all of you organics, Bacta works real well for you, and the field hospital is specifically designed to make you better. All of you get a choice. You can effectively remove 3 bad things from your character. You can choose it to be stress, which means that we need to have an understanding of like how you're being unstressed, or it can just be straight up physical wounds that have happened, which is easily explained with back to cybernetic replacements and the like. So let's start off with Sergeant Randar. What do we see for you during your recuperation?
Yeah, so Randar spends some good time in the back to take. He has a lot of chest wounds that need to be tended to, and so I was at moderate harm, so I'm going to take myself down to none, so that's 2. And after the initial batch, I mean, the lieutenant, he sends him right to Hula. He sends him right to the back to tanks. Randar doesn't really have much say in that. So after he comes back out a little bit better, less worse for wear, that's when it's time to address the stress. He is alone at the moment. I think he kind of gets out of the back to tanks before the other men in the section, and I'm going to start using another move I just picked up. Actually, I think he quickly goes to get a drink, and he's swilling some frontier booze, trying to take the edge off all of the lives that have been lost, that he has taken, that he has seen taken in front of him, Yeah, that's I think what Randar's doing. Randar just sits alone and drinks.
All right. Cool. Go ahead and let's see how this works for you. Roll with Valor.
Yep. So I'm using the move Take a Swig. When you turn out,
I see it.
okay, to repress memories of those you've lost, roll with Valor. My Valor is +2. So okay. And I get an 8.
Okay, on a 7 to 9 with this particular move, you temporarily numb yourself to the needs of the section, remove stress, but the section receives -1 to its next strategize roll. Ooh,
Perfect.
Interesting. And I'm going to put a little note in here in the strategize special move there. Hopefully remind us of that. Cool. So go ahead and remove a stress. That means your brawn is no longer at a -1. It should go back to flat, right?
Yes.
Cool. Good work. So let's check in with Grask. You had a lot of stress. Yeah, you were a little wounded. What does this look like for you?
I think while I'm not in the trenches and hanging around, the Bacta's doing the work because I had some slapped on the injury. I took the shot in the back, and I think it I don't need to go on to attack. It just heals with a bit of time, and since nobody's shooting at me, which is kind of nice, so I think it just heals up. And if I've got 3 things. Yeah, so I will then recover my stress because I'm not in the front line. You know what? I'm not in the front line, which is deeply unstressful, deeply not stressful, because now I can think about organizing a hotball league or something for the boys to have some fun when they're not in the front lines, because these people, they, when they're free, some of them like to go and watch a Rhodian opera, but most of them like to go get drunk and hit other people in less lethal fashion. So
yeah, the troops love being able to love playing hutball because you're able to run across the field as opposed to just stay stuck in a trench all day.
Yeah, exactly. Also, they can just hit somebody, maybe even somebody they don't like. So. And you can't really hit a stormtrooper. You might actually hurt your hand. I mean, the stormtrooper will keel over if you hit their helmets, but it still might not be too pleasant to hit them with your bare hand.
Cool. So you're able to remove your stress.
Yeah.
And it is primarily just from the act of being out of battle and trying to organize something. Cool. And then your wit, was that a 2 at start, or was it
It was a 2 at start, yes.
Okay, cool.
I don't
so
know.
You returned to 2.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Very
Now
witty.
let's check in with Binks. You were lightly wounded and had a great deal of stress from all the things that happened to you. So how do you want to... You're going to need to effectively find an engineer. So you will need to engage in the faithful through adversity if you have the lightly wounded.
Yeah, let's do that. And that's Valor. I increased my Valor with my XP last time.
Cool. So you're at a 1.
Yeah. Let's see. 26 +1. That's a 7.
Okay.
So
it's a hit. You recover 1 harm, which means it will be repaired, but efforts to treat your wounds have impacted the ability for others to receive aid. Holy crap, you got to mark another stress? It sucks. Yeah, I think what happens is in order to get healed up, Private Rendur, who's in another section, he's pulled out, which means he's not out there working on some of the projects that his section will call his section. They will be 9 Espeth. So 9 Espeth is left short, and you realize it through just a little bit of conversation with him. The guilt of that's going to give you a little bit of stress. Oh man, so much stress. So how do you want to recover some stress here? You've got that opportunity as well.
I'm not sure. I think I will. Some of it will just be getting adjusted to this new situation with being interfaced with the other droid brain, and coming to some kind of accommodation there. Either I guess both of us figuring out like who is who anymore. Where's the line between our different minds in some way, and I think maybe also trying to help out a bit in the field hospital. Like he's not a surgeon or anything, but they can carry things. They can, go fetch things that need fetching. Hold someone down when they need to be held down if they're doing kind of emergency operations or something. So he's trying to work off some of that guilt by making sure some other people are getting help, at least, even if it's not the ones who would have been helped by having that engineer available.
Can I suggest a thought?
Yeah, sure.
So I was looking at the move provide comfort, and I know it's usually like more for when we're in the thick of action and stuff like that. But I kind of was thinking about something, and tell me if you think this would work, Anders. I was kind of thinking maybe Kent Randar would try and provide comfort. He would try to get you involved in a game of cards or gambling. And the thought here being that it gets your mind off of it, but it also is focused on probability. And then like your two minds kind of find like a synchronicity in that, because it's like, it's not arguing, it's just data, it's just numbers. And through playing cards, you're able to kind of like sync up, or find a better rhythm or something. That's my thought. If that sounds.
I like it. No, I like it a lot. So let's go ahead with effectively by having to get help from the engineer. You've ended up with a total of 4 stress. You healed 1 harm, so you have 2 more things that you can mark off, which is a perfect open door for Randar to sense that you still have stress that you're carrying. So go ahead and heal mark off 2 of those check marks if you want wit or brawn to still be at a -1, your choice, whichever one of those you want to keep it at the -1 until Randar comes along to provide comfort by pulling you into a sabacc game, right?
Exactly.
And Grask, they don't have credits, right? These are Republic soldiers who are just happy to. What is it that is being bet in these sabacc games? Are they like smokes, death sticks? Are they food canisters?
Whatever works, right? I mean,
right,
we
of
can.
course.
We
but
can
you found this whatever.
We can. I can totally make that work. I mean, if you bet death sticks, I can make that work. If you win, you can get more death sticks, or you have a selection of the other fine wares that I have from the losers. So, yeah, sure. Some people like having calf a lot, and there are some people who have very fine calf, and then they can bet that. So, it's more of a tradey thingy, because they don't have why don't they have credits? What are you here for? Why are we here if we aren't even getting
Why would
paid?
you carry credits into battle? What are you gonna buy? You're a soldier. It's all.
I mean, you could always
barter. It's a barter
And
economy.
yeah, it's a barter thing, right? And maybe we'll mix up some sort of kind of system of currency where the packs of death sticks are worth the baseline of worth is a packet of death sticks, and then whatever is worth that many packets of death sticks, even
Sounds good.
if death sticks aren't involved anymore in the whole thing.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that if Randar is involved, there's going to be some death sticks somewhere.
It's a lot
Randar,
of smoke.
go ahead.
Yeah.
And the great thing about providing comfort is that, of course, that means you might be able to up your morale. So let's go ahead and have you roll to provide comfort to.
All right. And I got a 6. Oh, rough. Well, I think the entire section's is damaged by all of our ruthless gambling going on.
I think what we see is you guys playing Sabak, and maybe Binks, the connections are starting to take hold. I think maybe you guys are in like you're playing this game, you're not doing it out on the open field area, but kind of holding to the idea of a stadium. Maybe you found a concession stand, right? So there's like this actual counter, and they've long since taken all of the really good fizzy drinks and calf and stuff like that, but maybe someone's figured out that if you take one particular vending machine and tilt it just right, you can reach in and you can grab a couple of packaged foodstuffs. Blue macaroons are now canon in Star Wars, so maybe someone's eating one of those, and that's when Lieutenant Hula steps in. And you guys are playing Sabak and betting supplies, including death sticks and other contraband. That's the word I've been thinking about. That's right, contraband. That's it's pretty illegal. And Hula just
it's not that's just giving a bad name just because I'm a weakway, right? Yeah, sure. This is contraband because I'm a weakway. Wouldn't be contraband if a human did it. Sure, I know. These are just commodities.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't agree. So he's gonna read you a little bit of the quote unquote riot act, Sergeant Randar. You know that it's like his heart isn't in it. He's doing it for appearances. And then at the end he says, Randar, I gotta get you guys back out. Listen, there's a big push into Cyward, so I need you to make sure that your unit is ready to go by tomorrow morning. All right?
Yeah, Hula, we can be ready to go.
Good. Is there anything you need?
If you're taking orders, yeah, we could use some grenades. I could use a field mechanics kit. Our droid's breaking down every push, and we can hardly ever get an engineer out there to do nothing for him. I could use that. I could use more men. I could use how much time have we got, boss?
More men I'm working on. You may be able to have a few replacements to fill out the section. Faithful sounds like you're trying to be faithful through adversity with your conversation here. I'll give you a +1 forward on this roll. Let's go ahead and have you roll with valor. You're valorous.
I'm a valorous guy. All right, so +3. I don't need to type out the whole roll name. Why do I do it every time?
No, why do you do that every time?
I get an 11.
Wow. Okay, so you get to make sure that he recovers harm and does not cause you any stress whatsoever. So we already know that Binks is no longer harmed, but I think it would be okay if he removes one more stress.
Cool.
Sounds good to me. Oh, weird. Are you back? What just happened? Randar requisitioned some extra equipment for Binks from
Oh, okay.
Lieutenant Hula after Lieutenant Hula read him the riot act
okay.
about what are you doing? You know, you're not setting the right example. You're the NCO. You're not a private anymore. Blah blah blah. Then he says, "Yeah, tomorrow you guys are heading back out. We're gonna take Cyward tomorrow." So cool. And you know that, Sergeant Randar, Lieutenant Hula isn't going to deliver that to the unit.
Yeah. I'm going to turn back to the unit and kind of like clear up the card game. And he's going to say, all right, fellas. Well, hey, gather around. Section 10, we're heading out tomorrow. We're going to make a push for Cyward. It's the final push of this leg of the campaign. The Force only knows how much further this goes. Everybody be ready for dawn. Get a good meal in. Sleep well. It's going to be the last warm night we have for a while. And then Randar kind of approaches Grask and says, Grask, I don't know how much extra gear we're going to get supplied on this. So maybe you take the night, find us something useful. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, warm night. You're joking, right? It's always freezing on that rock here, that muddy rock.
Well, it's warmer than the trench. At least it ain't wet.
It's not saying much, yeah, but not wet is nice, yeah. Damn, okay. I guess you're not interested. I mean, you don't mean kind of skin condition cream, right? You probably don't.
No, you're right.
You
I'm sorry, Tarvo. I always forget. Weequay, you need the moisture. I'm sorry, it causes you to crack and break out. That please, hey, if you can find some for yourself, by all means. But if you can get your hands on some grenades or something.
Grenades.
We always need more of those. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally agree. I'll see if I can scrounge up some grenades.
All right, thank you, Tarvo. And you there, and then Randar turns and like orders some privates to like go to latrine duty.
So I'm going to see if I can get some grenades, thermal detonators. I don't know, anything that goes boom and we don't have to send close by. And if you're talking, Rich, you're muted.
Yeah, I did. I did it. I did the thing once a game. Dang it. Usually but nope, I blew it. All right. Your quartermaster. Dang it. I had written that down. Who is your quartermaster?
I think we had them in the NPCs tab somewhere.
There he is, Corporate Vora, quartermaster for your section. So it looks like you're hitting the resupply move. Let's go ahead and have you roll with Valor when you go to visit with your section quartermaster, Corporal Vora.
Okay, let me see. Do I have a... No, this is not. This is the resupply move, exactly. Roll with Valor, I'm not even afraid of him. Okay, so 2d6, right?
Yep, 2d6 flat for you.
Nice, or not so nice.
Whoa,
yeah, but I've rolled,
very nice.
Yeah, well.
Boxcars. Oh,
yeah.
Beautiful.
Well, yeah, nice. So I think on a 10 plus, you get what you want, but supplies are in high demand. This might be the only time you can get them. This might be my... That's
He
strong.
slides you 4 grenades. And he says, distribute that amongst the sector. And power packs for your various weapons and some, like a few like MREs, meals ready to eat in cans that you can have, and maybe even a nice little bit of oil, kind of WD-40 type stuff for Binks.
Yeah, sure. I'll ask for that. And thermal detonators are still a thing in Star Wars, right?
They are, but we also have grenades. So thermal detonators, actually, I kind of created my own canon that like thermal detonators are significantly more deadly than grenades, right?
That's why I want one of these.
Oh, okay. So if you're willing to swap out 2 grenades, he'll give you a thermal detonator.
Definitely.
Right, so get 2 grenades and 1 thermal detonator.
Yeah. Nice. So I'm going back and I still have the 2 grenades from before.
You just loaded up with grenades.
I'm
So
really loaded up with grenades, but I'm giving 2 of them away, but I'm keeping the thermal detonator. I mean, maybe I'm giving 3 away if Randar is grumbling a bit. That's only 2, but I can give him 3. But I still got the thermal detonator. I will tell you about that. I have got this.
Okay, so you let me know that you got a thermal detonator as well.
Mhm.
I don't know how you pulled the strings on that one, but you keep close eye on that.
I think that Quarren likes me.
Hey, I like you now, Tarvo. Jeez. How many grenades?
I've got a boyfriend.
All right, Tarvo. Listen, don't make me take this up command. All right. How many grenades do you give to Binks and I?
I can give each of you 1, and then 1 other to this other person who's in our squad or something, or we keep that. I give you 2, and I give Binks 1, and then I keep 1 for myself and thermal detonator, because I don't know why. But yeah. You're muted, Cody.
I was actually just speaking to myself, but
Okay.
I was checking the move for the grenades, which is pull the pin, uses brawn. So in that case, I actually think Randar will keep 1, but he would give the extra 1 that you would give me. I want Binks to have.
Okay.
nice. Yeah, and you're sticking in grenades plus, maybe for Grask you put, 1, +1. So that's the thermal detonator. Nice. Cool. So you sent off Grask to the quartermaster to get what he can. Is there anything that Binks is doing after the Sabak game is broken up, knowing that you've got precious few hours before you have to go back to the front?
Well, I need to get a new trench club since I lost my shock baton, and I think maybe retconning a bit, I grabbed the leg I lost, and I'm going to fashion that into a club.
Wow, that is crazy. Let's see. Do you have yeah, your stuff's all fighty related, so it sounds like, let's see if you, because here's the deal. You're going to end up with some kind of physical weapon. Are you able to make the leg, or are you going to have to scrounge for it, is the kind of the question. So let's have you work while at rest. I think that's yeah.
That sounds reasonable. Roll with the attribute you best see fit. Well, it's wit or brawn. I'm not sure it's probably wit, I think.
Sure. I put little hover overs on what each of the stats mean, if that helps. Improvisational abilities under wit, so that might work. But then fashioning it, like your power and effectiveness to make a leg into a weapon, I could see brawn that as well. Just tell me how you got like this cutscene that we have. Cutscene. Oh my god, I'm such a video game nerd. But like the little moment that we have, it's where we see you fashioning this. What is
well, we're usually under these terrible conditions with all the penalties, so I'm going to take the better stat now, just because I get to roll with a +2, which will probably never happen more in the game.
I'm into it. That's why I was trying to open it up. Me and you on the same page.
So basically, Binks has maybe found some very rudimentary tools, but mostly he's just using raw strength and just banging away at this leg and like twisting it so that it's, instead of separate pieces, it's just like all sticking together in a single piece.
All right, let's see how you go. Give me that roll. You get to use your
Yeah.
+2. Somebody already used up your boxcars, Sabine, so you're not getting
Yeah,
another
yeah.
one of those.
But I get a 10.
Nice. Okay, sweet. So yeah, you now have fashioned yourself out of your own leg a rudimentary club, but with a 10, I think you maybe even slide in a little bit of the ability to make it not unlike your stun batons. You now have a trench club for your leg.
Thanks. What since you're using your leg as a club now and you got repaired, what did they like repair your leg with? Like, do you have a wheel now, like under one joint, or what is it?
I think what we said last time was they replaced it with a leg from another droid, but it's not the same model. So that's why I was a bit wonky with my stats last time. But now I think I've gotten used to it. So I still have this like uneven stride, but I'm used to it. So I'm compensating for the uneven gait. But yeah, it still looks weird.
Perfect.
It's not like it would make you tired, right? Because you're an awesome droid. That sounds cool. In the afternoon, Grass comes back, hands out the grenades, and 6 privates, clean-faced. You're pretty sure, Sergeant Randar, that they were dropped here. This is their first time on planet. When they come in, they're like looking around this hutball arena. They all look like they've got to be, barely into puberty. They're all humans. They even, a couple of them look real similar. Maybe they're related. And they look around, and when one of them with a voice that cracks a little bit says, I'm looking for Sergeant Randar. Looking for Sergeant Randar.
You found him, Private. What's your name?
Private Thule, sir.
Private Fool?
Thule. And the other guys like crack up a little bit nervously.
All right, Private Fool. Well, you found me. I take you lot of refreshments sent to Section 10?
Yes, sir.
All right.
And he salutes you, and it's a good, crisp salute, like fresh out of the academy salute.
Oh, wow. You've been practicing. That's great. Put the hand down. You don't want to be doing that out here. All you're doing is showing a sniper out on those ridges who they should be shooting at. You understand?
I'm sorry, sir.
All right, go run laps around this. We're going to be heading out in the morning, so I want you good and tired tonight. Run some laps.
Okay, and they kind of look among each other, and then they take off running. They've got their gear. All their stuff is like crisp, it's pressed, it's fresh, it's brand new, no mud on it whatsoever. Like you can see in their cuticles, there's like no marks whatsoever. Yeah, and they take off. They're running with their gear and everything. They don't drop anything.
Are these grown-up humans?
They're kids, Tarvo. I mean, they
Okay.
They shouldn't be here, but they're here. You think the Republic would be full of more, folks who lived through the war, lived through the rebellion. We shouldn't be sent. Tarvo, watch them. And then Randar goes on.
Yeah. I thought I would go and watch. I'm not going watching them. I'm going to ask around what's going on, what we're going to do here, because I mean, I'd like to know where I'm going so that I can avoid the worst. I mean, I can make a sensible strategy.
Anticipate the worst and overcome it. Yeah, gotcha. Totally makes sense.
Yeah.
Roll with wit, you witty person, yeah.
See how witty I am. Roll the dice. Well, I'm witty at 8, so that is fine, I guess.
Yeah.
Ask around. Yeah, and so 7 to 9, something is demanded of you in return. Okay.
Nice. Cool. So you end up finding that the flight group, which includes Gimma, Duck, Fody, they are meeting with several other section lieutenants and General Hera Syndulla is here. There was no fanfare of her arriving. Usually when she arrives, she's the general, right, of this entire regiment. So when she goes to areas, it's often, there's a bit of notoriety to that. It's people like seeing General Hera Syndulla. She's there with Captain Dalla and Major Tillo, and they're going over the hollows of the information that Gemma Foti had retrieved. And you see them going over the look of Cyward and the Skyrung manufacturing, and then there's a pullout of that Imperial fortress, and General Hera Syndulla is organizing an assault on the fortress. But the players are looking at Cyward, she points out that there is along the riverbanks, the river was actually rerouted through Cyward itself, primarily to offer it as a coolant for Skyrung manufacturing. And so she knows that there are a number of, well, as she points out, Hera Syndulla is talking about, of course, that river is going to be heavily guarded. There are likely a number of droids, mines, and the like. But if we can get some units through that, we should be able to open up the northern section of Cyward very easily. So that's when she looks around and sees you, but she's not going to call you out. That is not General Hera Syndulla's way. But she says, Lieutenant Hula, can you secure the area? Secure this conversation? And your section lieutenant looks up and looks around, and then he comes over to usher you away. Listen, Krask, hey, Private, we need you to clear the room.
Yeah. I was just going there and getting this, and now I'm going back.
Okay.
Yeah. More water, I say, and then I go out. Like, so the constant rain wasn't enough. Now we have to go into a river, and I will go into the sergeant and tell him, hey, I've learned this. We will go into a river, and you have seemed to be watered yourself down internally as well, which is nice, which I will do now as well.
And yeah, Krask, you see all these like brand new fresh recruits are like running. You've done like 10 laps by the time you make your way back from asking around.
You seem to be fine.
Yeah,
they're not
starting
even
to sweat. Like they're carrying a lot of gear, but they're in good shape. They're fine. They don't have any of the injuries that most of the seasoned soldiers carry around.
Wait, they're new. They don't know me. I sense opportunity. So once they're finished with their running around, I will try to swindle them out of stuff they probably don't need. They're going into a river and a trench. Why would they need this? Why would they need credits? Nobody needs credits on the front. I'll keep them for them. Stuff like that.
Okay.
I'm trustworthy.
Sure. That's great. Yeah, I don't even know if that's a move. I think that's just a thing you do. You kind of hassle those poor.
I have a medal that shows that I was a pilot in the Battle of Solas. It was an award, so I'm trustworthy. They don't give these out to just anyone.
Oh, Private Thule and Private Carter are just amazed by your medal. Private Thule says, I read about the Battle of Solas. We studied that in academy.
Oh, wow. It was a pretty amazing battle, if I say so myself. Yeah. And I'm telling them some war stories here. Maybe I will exaggerate a little what I did there. Not too much. They studied the battle.
Yeah, you get that Thule is just completely like blown away by this. He trusts every single word. And Private Carter, he's the one who needles just a little bit like, but I thought that it was like what they taught in academy is that you guys, and so do you amend your story or do you just countermand? The Carter, what they told you is buck.
If that, I mean, I said I'm exaggerating my own role. I'm not totally making everything up. So that
Sure.
with what he learned at the academy will track with what I'm telling him anyway. So I mean, it's probably maybe the one thing you can say, I thought that was Lieutenant, whatever the name of that guy was, thing. I say, yeah, I was in his squad. I was taking point at that run.
Nice. Cool. I like it.
Which
Yeah.
I find
Okay.
weirdly is actually has been true. So I'm like looking at the medal and I say, why did I do that? That was foolish.
And yeah, that just enhances the story for them, and all these fresh green recruits are just amazed. Like, why are you here though? Private Fool asks. What? Why aren't you up there? Like, we've got a flight group. I saw some X-wings.
That's classified, private. It's need to know.
Oh, and he's just amazed by that. Like, oh my goodness, I am in a unit with someone who's on a classified mission.
I mean, I would like to have the answer to that myself, but well.
So Binks and Sergeant Randar, the two of you are, I don't know, Randar, are you guys just kind of resecuring some of your stuff, double checking all your equipment, cleaning things, or what is it that you're doing when Lieutenant Fody makes her way up to talk to you?
I think Randar, I think he's double checking all of his gear. He's like retightening his boots. He's undoing and redoing like the laces and stuff like that, making sure his socks are dry. I think he's working kind of mindlessly to take his mind off of these kids that he's been sent, essentially. Yeah, I think that's what he's doing.
And what is it that Binks is up to?
I think he has found a power unit so he can recharge a bit, and he doesn't know when it will be free next. So he's stuck there basically.
Oh, you're
sitting-
plugged into a gonk droid? That's awesome.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
I love it. Just occasionally the gonk droid. Gong.
So I'm kind of, and the gong droid is like walking around because it has kind of a route it follows around the stadium because to service different parts, and so I have to kind of follow the gong droid around.
That's awesome. So Lieutenant Foti, she has a brace on her leg, and you can see that they've kind of hooked up to where there's a bunch of back to around the area where her leg is. She's able to put a little bit of weight on it, but it's a pretty severe break that she went through. So she's got a limp, and she'll make her way to see you, Lieutenant Rindar, about the time that Binks, you come around on your gonk circuit. She says, "Hey, Sergeant Randar, Lieutenant Hula is probably going to be sending you guys on a special part of the mission on the assault on Cyward. Just wanted to give you the heads up."
Yeah, sounds like Hula. You got any more details for me, pilot?
So there's a little, what they call it back home, a creek, like a smaller part of a river, like a little tributary that slips right through Cyward. And I was able to drop a few extra sensors there showing that while there are some mines, it doesn't appear that it's heavily patrolled. So I think that your section is going to be sent through that little tributary to try to secure as much of the northern section of Cyward while they hit the assault on the fortress.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, you can progress up a river faster than street fighting block to block. But, well, I mean, I appreciate the heads up. That will change some things. Do you know off your sensors about how deep the water gets in there?
It gets about 10 meters total. So chances are the fact that you have a droid in your section is going to be beneficial for you guys. Also, Lieutenant Hula wanted to find an opportunity for you, so.
Oh, an opportunity for us. Great. Yes, we always need more of those. Well, thank you, pilot. I hope you take it easy, get that leg fixed up.
Oh, I'm getting him my fighter tomorrow. I'll be alongside you guys. I'll give you backup.
Oh, that is reassuring. Thank you. That's good to hear. Is there this isn't Randar speaking, this is Cody, I guess. Is there anything I'm missing about this? It's just she's giving us the heads up about this path, like there's sensors. Is there anything?
I mean, no, they're kind of playing it by ear. They think they see an opportunity to be able to slice off part of the section. Another thing she'd probably add is they're probably going to send with you some of the little comm repeaters so they can set up, communication
lines. Sure. Okay. Yeah.
That's cool. Going to be an important part of your mission that I neglected to point out earlier. Yeah.
I mean, we haven't even really gone on the mission. You're good. Okay, cool. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that I got everything out of it that I was.
You got it.
In that case, I'm going to also tell when I'm able to get everybody together before the night, before we push the next day, I'm going to make sure everyone packs light. I don't want anybody risking falling overboard and because they packed every pot and pan they've ever had in their life to get swept away in the current. So the fresh recruits, the privates and everything, I'm going to like walk them through stripping down their gear. You don't really need this canteen kit. You need just this mug. You can reheat the mug. You can heat everything up in this mug. That's all you need. Keep the knife, get rid of the fork, and I'm going to
Sarge, I can't swim. Just saying, I can't swim. Never learned to.
Rask, you're gonna have to make sure you don't fall overboard, is I think the thing. We're gonna presumably
just want to let you know that I would need a lifesaver or something if I fall overboard.
We'll stick some privates on you, like flies on Bantha Poodoo. Is Lieutenant Hula? Are we going to be given a boat to go down the river? Or are we going to be walking it?
So yeah, that's a great question. We'll kind of fast forward to a little bit of your mission brief. So the mission brief is that they have secured a number of, I don't know what we call it in Star Wars, but effectively like U-boats, and the primary assault force is going to be hitting on the southern side of Cyward, trying to head straight in for the fortress, moving block by block. You guys are going to be working like your section, because you're small. It's like a 10-man team, 10 person, one droid kind of thing, a bunch of replacements, and the three of you guys. You're going to be given a sub unit, and you can just hold on to it for as long as you can get in there. You're going to be given rebreathers, and you're going to go underwater to get across the river while all of this hell is happening south of you. And then hopefully you could just hang on to it and just zip it straight through until you can get to the point where you can drop some of the comm units. And he points out a few places there. And and to stay on comms with him in case things change, because there's a possibility of secondary of dropping the bridges that exist. There are a total of 4 main bridges in Cyward. I know. Why don't they have corners among calls? Why do they have a weak way? Man,
the
they did
Moncal
well.
are all busy in their ships.
They're
Okay,
beautiful,
so
beautiful ships.
hearing that, I think Randar's gonna look to Tarvo. He says, "You hear that, Tarvo? You think you're gonna be able to hold on tight? You don't need to swim. You just gotta hold on."
I can hold on like anything. Just don't like water.
I tell you what.
I mean, you know what? I thought last time was bad with the rain coming down, but now you're dropping me basically in a river. I love it. Yay.
The way it's going, I'm sure next week will be assaulting a water world for all I know.
Oh, great. Yay, me. My skin is going to fall off. You know that, right?
It's Tarvo. It's not. I mean, listen. It's either that or you get shot by a bolt real quick. I mean, either way, you're going out fine, right?
You know that I'm pretty much, my skin is pretty much immune to bolts. So, I mean, that's not good. Yeah, I'm coming. I'm coming.
All right.
Rolling.
All right. All right. I'll lodge your complaint. I'll make it noted and known to the quartermaster and the lieutenant, and they'll know, hey, you got to stop sending our Weequay on these wet adventures. He just can't handle it. I'll let him know. The hero of that battle, he can't handle the water. I'll let him know, Tarvo.
I'm fine with you letting them know. Yeah, because this is not a good way to use a soldier.
Noted, Tarvo. Noted.
Thank you.
All right. Well,
You will need no time soon.
any last bit of wrap up before we take our mid-game break, and when we pick back up, you guys will be in the thick of trying to assault Cyward. But I didn't want to cut off anything. If anybody had any little scenes or preparations or anything you want to do to try to boost your morale, probably not a terrible idea. Remember that providing comfort adds morale to the section pool on a 10+.
So does aid or
yeah,
obstruction.
aid does it like on any hit, so that's good.
Yeah, I was gonna say I kind of was thinking maybe I could roll aid for like helping the privates like strip down their gear and kind of get actually prepared for the front. Maybe
do it. That sounds good. I like it.
All right. An 11.
Nice, man. You know this stuff. They totally listen to you. And I think at one point, Private Fool says, "Well, of course, Sergeant Randar knows what he's doing. He's part of the special section with Lieutenant Tarvo." They're now referring to Grass Tarvo by his previous rank, Lieutenant Tarvo.
Do I hear that?
Yeah. They don't think it's a secret.
Yeah. Private, he's not a lieutenant any longer. He's been bussed down. Just you don't go letting Lieutenant Hula hear you say that.
Yes, sir. Of course, sir.
Great.
Sorry, sir.
And okay, all right, that's enough, sirs. And remember, when we're out there, no saluting. And that's it for Randar.
Nice. Anything else from Binks?
Yeah, I was thinking maybe trying to provide comfort for Sergeant Randar.
Oh, nice. He does seem a little stressed.
Yeah, but the only thing I can think of, I'm not sure it's actually providing comfort, and that's basically warning him not to, basically reminding him that most of these replacements will probably die, so he shouldn't get too attached to them. Like, I hope you haven't learned everyone's names yet. You can save that for until after we've finished this assault.
Wow, Binks. Hit me with that roll. Let's see how comforting it is.
So that's Valor, right?
Oh, good question. Provide comfort. He is valor.
Yep. So I have a +1. And I get a 4. Yeah, that's probably about what I should have expected.
Oh,
Wow. I think. Yeah, I think the newbies hear this, right?
Yeah.
definitely.
Newbies hear this and they're shook by that. They're not going to say anything. Maybe it's not even a thing where Randar, you pick it up right away. But we'll, at the beginning of the next morning, we'll see the ramifications of that miss. That sounds good.
Wonderful stuff. What wonderful droid comfort. Oh, good.
Droid comfort's the best comfort. All right. You still get a 1 morale, so there's that. And then check in, Sabine. Anything last before we take mid-game break? Anything that Grask wants to do?
Yeah, I kind of would like to help someone. To provide some aid to everybody by getting them the kind of stuff that they need, them like the extra good stuff,
Ooh,
because
nice.
I got the extra ammo packs and stuff like that, just walking around and giving it to people and saying like, yeah, put that back up instead of those credits you don't really need. That will save your life a lot better out there. Because stormtroopers don't take your credits. They just want to shoot you. They're evil bastards and we got to blow them up or shoot them. That's just what we do, right? Because Empire is evil. So there is to it, even if you're human. And I will try to do that by rolling valor, right?
Yeah. One of your best stats.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
I will see how that goes. Oh, I've got a 5. That goes nowhere. They probably don't understand that
Awesome.
weird. They don't understand my weird weak way humor. But I got an XP, right?
Yeah. No, you get XP. The way you get XP in this thing's
Okay.
not on a miss. It's actually on
Okay.
achieving
Okay.
section objectives. So,
Okay. Damn.
Yeah, you're sitting at 2. That's right. So hopefully you guys will nail some pretty easily. Yeah, totally. That those two combined are perfect for what happens in the morning. It just went from they've lost a little bit of spirit to one of them has gone AWOL, which we'll discover when you guys come back. So let's take our mid-game bio break. It is 26 after. Take like 9-ish minutes and meet back at 25 till. See you guys in a bit. All right, we're back. And Sergeant Randar, you're one of the first ones up. Binks, of course, is semi-aware. They are in that rest period. So, yeah, Randar, when you find out that your unit is down 1, Private Kardar is not here.
I immediately look to Private Thule and I address him as such. I say, Private Thule, where's Private Carter?
I kick him awake. Maybe he went to the latrine, sir.
Are his things there?
No, all his stuff's gone.
Private Thule, does it look like he went to the latrine with all of his belongings?
No, sir. I'll go look for him, sir. He gets up. He's about to take off. What do you do? Let him go?
No. Randar just says, Thule, get ready. We're about to head out. And he just leaves. I think he leaves it at that. And Randar is going to. I'm not gonna worry about Carter. I'm not gonna search for him. It's just it's the way of this thing, and he doesn't have the time today to handle this problem. He's going to let Lieutenant Hula know when he comes across him, whether it's like, at the briefing or whatever. He's going to say, we have a deserter. Here's their name. You get after him. We're heading out.
All right, I'll get the MPs on it.
Well,
Sith spit, man. I
I
get
don't-
you all
I don't
these
know.
kids and they take off on you, Randar. Come on, they were primed and ready to roll. They were green. What did you and your folks do? Were you hazing?
No hazing, Hula. It's the war, Hula. These kids don't know what they're signing up for. They want to kill bucket heads, and that's great. And then they get out here and they see what it takes. They're not ready for it. They're kids, Hula. The Republic is sending us kids. This isn't like the rebellion where we took everyone we needed because we needed everybody, every person with a trigger finger. It ain't like that anymore. It shouldn't be. You go get them.
Okay. Listen, you pull this mission off, Randar. It's really, we take Cyward. It's the last city. Lavasar's ours. Okay.
Hula, has Section 10 ever let you down?
I'll go with no.
You'll go with Hula. You know damn well we do good work in this section.
You do. You do. Keep your eye on Trask. Snuck in on an officer meeting. Just make sure that he didn't have anything to do with that desertion, okay?
Sure. I trust Tarvo. Listen, if he was going to desert, he could have done it any time in the past 6 months.
All right. I'll send the MPs after him.
Great. So yeah, Randar, gets the section together, gets ready for the next stage of the plan, I guess.
Yeah, by the time you're waking up the rest of the unit, you hear a distant sound, like thunderous sound of the first artilleries of the day. Sun's not even up yet. It's just threatening to come up in that weird, deep orange across the sky.
Randar yells to wake everyone up, but it's more of like a, ooh, the imps sure are starting early today. You hear that? You hear that, boys? The Empire, they don't want us coming for them this morning.
And the recruits, they're all kind of sitting around each other, and you overhear Thule saying, "Yeah, he's just gone. He's just gone. I didn't see him at all. Did you guys see anything? Did you see anything?" And they look and they see you coming up, and you start yelling, and they get quiet. They all struggle to their feet, carrying their packs, and all the stuff you told them to get rid of, they've gotten rid of, but it's not around anywhere, because it's probably being sold by Tarvo to somebody.
Yeah, for stuff that we need.
Right.
Well, yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, if I take a percentage, that's only fair. But I'm taking care of the unit. I'm not letting them down. I brought you all these grenades.
You head out of the Hutball arena, past the area where the X-Wings were lined up. Not a one of them is here. They've already taken off. You guys on a hop start huffing it back towards the lines, and you see that there are already people moving up out of the trenches. There's no man's land on this side of the river, so you're able to move across feet, meters of land that you saw people spill blood for is now all yours. There's something empty about the muddy area that you'd fought so hard to take. No grass has grown here. You still see the bodies that were left behind that have not been recovered or buried as you're making your way quickly towards what was the Imperial trench line that is now your front lines. And as you do, you see that the hover tanks are already assaulting the shore of Cyward lobbing shells across the river. The X-Wings are circling around, and they are just pounding on that Imperial fortress. Imperial fortress is firing its anti-aircraft artillery laser cannons, turbo lasers against the X-Wings, and it's a harried fight. As the sun starts to rise, you can smell the smoke and smell the areas of Cyward that are burning. Right, there are sections of this city that had not been hit by targeted strikes from the X-Wings that are now falling prey to the heavy artillery attacks on them. And as you guys hustle down, you're handed this small little, basically it almost looks like an old World War I bomb that has a fan motor to it. There are a number of handholds that have been attached to the thing. And you see that there are a couple of supply droids there, and they greet you in binary first, Binks, saying, greetings, honored warrior. May the force be with you.
Thank you. We'll need that.
And one of it's like a protocol droid. It regards you and says, you have created a mesh network with other droids, I have heard. Is this correct?
Oof.
It doesn't sound like an accusation as much as curiosity, and it is speaking binary in
Yeah.
hopes that most folks will not understand what you're talking.
Yeah, I will answer in binary, and I think I will try to say, like, we don't know what you're talking about, but in a way that lets them understand that I do know.
Mhm.
Like, I'll say we don't know what you're talking about, but then add in a code for like negation at the end of it.
The protocol droid replies, I understand. It is interesting what you are doing for your fellow droids to keep them functioning.
We do what we must.
May the force be with you and your mesh network continue.
And with you as well.
Then it starts handing off these little rebreathers to everyone in the unit, and then it ends up holding one more. Sergeant Randar, it appears that we have an extra rebreather.
Appears you do. You must have miscounted and thought Binks needed one. Honest mistake.
That is unlikely. We were aware of...
All right. Randar takes it from him and he says, get out of here.
Of course. Thank you very much. May the force be with you, gentle beings.
Yeah. Force with you, gentle beings. And Randar's going to turn to the section with the rebreather in his hand, and he's going to kind of like bark orders at how to use the rebreather, how to grab a hold of the little bomb with the fan, the little mover.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to recommend like the best way to hold on. You need to take it. Don't use your hand. Don't grip with just your hand. Your hand can be weak. Instead, loop your arm through it. Get the handle in the crook of your elbow. That ain't going to break if you hold on to your arm. You hold on tight. We're going up this river. And he's going to lay out, the basic plan, what they need to know. Yeah, that's what he's doing.
What's Grask doing during this intel giving to the crew? How does he react to this?
I think he wasn't listening. Yeah, he was staring at the river and the rebreather and all this stuff, and he was just like, "Oh my!" I don't think he's really uncomfortable with the whole "we're going into the water" thing, because I mean, yeah, space is fine. You can't live in space, but you usually have a ship around you, so that's fine. But water, really? Seriously? Okay.
I mean, do we think that this is enough stress? Like, should you be taking a stress right now?
Yes, I think I should be taking
Okay.
stress right now, because this is
Felt like
really-
it. I just wanted to
Yeah,
check in.
yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't have
that's
that could be an MC move, which is just give them stress, and I think that's what's
Oh.
going on here.
yeah, it's fine. That's that fits very well.
Okay. So yeah, Grask, you weren't really paying much attention, but for all of their greenness, those refreshment troops, definitely all eyes are on you, Sergeant Randar. They drink in every bit of what you have to offer. They just assume that Grask is, has done this 100 times, so that doesn't bother them at all. In fact, they take heart with Grask's like non-compliance. Anyway, sure enough, you order them and they push that thing into the water, and you guys are seeing they're already like pushing those U-boats, are heading across the Pilar River just south of you guys, and you can already see a couple of them get blown to smithereens. There are some pretty heavy defenses. It's pretty obvious this is an all-out offensive, and then you guys get to loop your arms in, and that little sub goes in. Now, Binks, what are you doing? You don't need this thing except perhaps for propulsion. So, what do we see you doing?
I don't know. I mean, could I just walk across at the
could.
bottom of the river?
I think you totally could. I guess the only concern I'd have is that thing probably has better propulsion than what your
Yeah.
droid body could, so you probably get left behind.
Hmm. I think I'm hanging underneath it in the water, one of them, and since I'm probably a bit heavier than the organics, I'm probably taking like 2 slots, like two spaces, or something. And but I'm fully submerged in the water, and it's just I'm just hanging underneath.
Cool. I like that. So Sergeant Radar, there was a question in chat. Absolutely. Let's have you roll that call to action, because that is a very
I did, and I got a
important
6.
move. Oh, great. Yeah. That's good. I mean,
Yeah.
wait, no, that's actually not good.
Yeah.
This is not good at all. So
I
call
mean,
to action.
we still have 1 point of we have 1 point of morale. Maybe that
do.
would be a good way to, or maybe what does the call to action move actually do?
If you push it to a 7, everybody will get a +1 on your next roll.
It's pretty good.
Which I think it's exchanging 1 morale point, 1 + 1 for 2 +1s for each of you on the next thing.
Mhm.
So I'd be cool with that, but that's your guys' call to use or not.
I think you should. I mean, this goal is already catastrophe in the making, and if we start out on the wrong foot,
Yeah.
I think you should push it.
All right. And
Yeah.
so it pushes to middle success, mixed success, which means that I inspire everyone with words that I don't truly believe in. So I mark stress.
God, that just, oh man, we're gonna do this. This is gonna be great. And you're like, you don't buy it at all.
So I'm taking a -1. I think it's a -1 to my I think it's to my valor. If it's something I don't truly believe in, I think that just makes sense that my heart kind of is out of it a little bit.
Oh, wow. So tell us, like, what is it, if you had thought bubbles, what is it about this that you're out of it? Is this maybe an assault that you guys had done previously that didn't work? Or is it just the bad luck that you guys have had, the fact that you've got all these kids along with you?
I
What is
think
it?
it's that Randar has been in war for so long that there is a number of ill omens or superstitions that you kind of associate with warfare.
Mhm.
And he's had 3 or 4 of them now happen in a row before this. You know, he got more than half of his section is all brand new. They're saluting him right out the gate. There's one person has went AWOL before they're even their first mission. You know, that's going to affect morale. The droid said that they're all going to die anyway, so don't get too attached. You know, I think it's just this combination of factors, and the way and the fact that Hula said, "I need you to succeed," and he said, "When have we ever let you down?" I think all of this is making Randar question their ability. He thinks he's worried that half of this platoon or half of this section is going to die before they get to their target, and the other half aren't going to make it home. He's kind of like, I think that's where he's at. He's feeling very bleak about this.
Ooh.
And he wraps his arm around that thing and disappears under the water.
That's great. Nice. I'm so glad I asked that question. I mean, depressed, but also glad. So this thing, it moves fast, and those rebreathers are held tight by teeth, and Grask, you're completely submerged in water. And does it chafe, or is it just scary? Like, is there a physical part of this that is the most bothersome to you?
Cold.
Cold. Yeah, it's
really
cold.
It's cold, and I mean, I have the feeling that it seeps through my skin. That is probably just nerves, but it's really, I'm really, this has, yeah, I'm stressed. That's fine.
Yeah, I'm not going to give you more
But-
stress. I just wanted to.
But I think getting in, since I don't immediately die or dissolve, I mean, I was in a ship and we lost compression and stuff like this. This is not that much worse. It's not that much colder, right? It's not much colder than space. So
It's not colder than space. It is definitely not colder than space. But the swooshing of the waves and the fact that, like, you guys are low enough in this river because it kind of drops down. It's designed to like drop down and just hover over the surface as low as possible. So there's seaweed that kind of brushes across your legs and the like. And at one point, Binks, you end up having to yank your mismatched leg to yank free of so because you're so much lower than the others that you kind of trail through that a little bit. And you hear above you that weird watery distortion to the sound of the explosions and everything. And it's like the world moves through this odd distortion. You're moving quickly, you know you are by watching things beneath you, but everything feels like it's suspended. Maybe it's a little bit like some of the zero-G training you've gone through, Grask, that of course these ground pounders have never had anything like that. And the water in your ears, Grask, is just like you can feel it surrounding, moving through the little folds in your skin, has this odd tickle to it. It's very unnerving.
And I took 2 credits from the weird human recruit with the pale hair, and then I took 3 from the one with the black hair, and then I took another one from the one with the squeaky voice. What's about that? And I'm distracting myself. I'm good. I've got this. I mean, I have to I've been in worse situations. I can't think of one, but I probably have been. Yeah.
Nice. And then you guys are coming along. Binks, you have enough kind of acuity presence to know that you guys are nearing the shore of Pilar on the other side. Randar, Tarvo, you're kind of distracting yourself, but Randar, you're able to pick up the fact that the slope starts to gradually go up. You feel like you're starting to rise up. And when you guys reach a certain point, blaster bolts start firing down towards you. And immediately the first thing that happens is you see one of the replacements gets riddled with a number of the blaster bolts, as it's just like somebody had a heavy repeating blaster, and it goes ting 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 ting, hits him, and it's like it's dialing it in to hit the tank, and the tank just poof, and it starts leaking oil and the like. And Brenda, you see the recruits, like one of them screams when he sees his buddy get shot up, and his rebreather pops out of his mouth, and they're still firing. What do you do, Randar?
How close is the one who just lost his rebreather?
He's close enough to where you feel like you could probably reach over, grab the guy, and shove that back in. I think that would probably be something you have to do while you're bogged down, right?
Okay.
Because you guys are getting fired on so heavily.
Yeah, so I'm going to yank out my rebreather, because I have that extra one in my pocket still that I took from the droid.
Oh, yes, you do.
I'm gonna yank out mine, and I'm gonna bark out some orders. Heads down, take cover, push forward, and then I'm gonna move over and slam my rebreather into the privates and kind of slap his helmet, and then I'll grab the spare and put it back in. But let's do bog down.
All right.
Oh, and what's the threat for this?
The threat is at this very point, it is a 2.
Yeah, it feels like it'd be heavy. Okay. So I'm doing a -2. All right. Here it comes. And I get a 2.
Yeah, that's rough. Rebreather swap. So you grab the kid, you shove the rebreather in his mouth. But when you reach for the rebreather in your pockets, everything is wet, and I'm gonna give you a stress, because by the time you are able to get the rebreather in your mouth, you're already starting to surface, and you see that there are some stormtroopers who are here, one with the giant big power pack thing with the heavy repeating blaster, and a spotter who's right by him with his little E11 blaster rifle, and they're just firing into the water, and they sight you when you surface, so they're starting to trail it up towards you.
I think I take on a lot of water as I'm searching for that rebreather, and I'm gonna get disorientated and a little sick. I'm gonna take a -1 to my brawn.
Oh, that sounds perfect. Like, that is a great explanation for why you take 1 to your brawn. Binks, you're fine. You don't have to worry about a rebreather. You just see everybody's getting fired on. You're underneath this thing. You realize vaguely. Oh no, you don't realize. You hear. We are protected. We should continue.
Continue how?
Continue on the mission.
Yes.
If we remain underneath this tank, we will not be destroyed by the repeating blaster above.
Yes. We should continue.
Cool. So if you want to continue on, what you'll end up doing is So if you take a look at the map, right, which is on the NPCs and places, you can see Skyward there. Where you guys are inserting yourselves is actually, you can see there's a little dock area. You can slide underneath that dock area and continue on without being fettered at all, Binks, but you'd be leaving your unit behind.
Well, if I leave the unit, then we're not really continuing with the mission.
True, although on part of the mission is dropping effectively comm buoys, which you could do on your own. But then you
That's
would not be
true.
receiving communication from command because they're going to be talking to your sergeant.
Oh, no, I have to stick to the sergeant at least.
All right.
Rich, just to get some clarification, you just mentioned that we're pulling up under a dock. I'm looking at the map of Skyward right now.
Yeah.
We haven't entered the city proper yet, right?
Correct. You've reached the shore and you're at a little dock. So like, just, I'm sorry. I sometimes I see a map and I feel like it's communicating more than it might be. So let me share screens real quick, just so I make sure we're on the same.
We're up at the top right of the map, I assume.
Yeah, we're at the top right. So I'm going to blow this up to like a
top
150.
right.
Yeah, you guys are at the top right. So think of the top as northward and the bottom as southward. Your mission, you guys are basically arriving right here.
Okay.
You're coming in, there's a little dock area here. You can just snake up this tiny little bit, and then it becomes the river actually comes through and it filters around Skyrung Manufacturing. This beach is where, this beach is the southerly beach, and that's where the U-boats are hitting. That's where the Republic forces are hitting the hardest. Mm-hmm. And it's a good like quarter-mile away from where you guys are, but it's not completely naked because they've got some people along the shore, and there's a heavy repeating blaster battery set up right here.
Got it. And just a final clarifying question: the waterway that's going through the city, we don't need the little jet ski things there because it's like a creek, right? It's like we're marching up it is the idea.
You could easily march up it. It's basically it's 10 meters here, but this creek right here, you could actually stand up in it. It would be about waist high.
Okay, got it.
For an average individual.
Cool.
Is that helpful? I hope that didn't muddy the waters worse. Muddy the waters, but I mean literally. I hope it helped. Cool. So yeah, you decide you're going to stay with the sergeant. You're not abandoning the unit to continue the mission at this point, which means that there's a little bit of disunity from your other half as it wants to just do the mission and feels like this is a fetter. This is slowing you down.
Yeah, I mean, if I could get the sergeant to sign off on it, then sure, but not without authorization. Yes.
So you have that quick conversation. Decision factor, Grask. You just saw a member of your unit get lit up. You're still underwater, but you know you could surface if you wanted to. It just means that you're surfacing in an inopportune area. What do you want to do?
I don't think I want to surface into blaster fire. I mean, I don't like the water, but I like to be alive. So no, I will try to. There's this move, right, that I used before.
Blend in?
Blend in, yeah. I'm trying to blend in and get where I need to go without being hit by blaster fire. That seems
like a smart Grask move to me.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Huh.
Do not forget that the threat level is 2.
Yeah, but I get +1.
Yeah, there you go.
So I got only -1. Yay! Yeah, that's an 8. It's a 7. Fine. I kind of blend in. I avoid detection, but am put in a difficult situation. I'm underwater. That's a difficult situation for sure.
I think the difficult situation is, Grask, you realize the best way to blend in is to like slip behind a couple of these replacement troops, which means they're just going to surface right in the maw of the beast.
They're not supposed to do that. I have this little droid, right?
Mhm.
So I'm telling him he should maybe go and tell them to stay down. Not do we have to surface to get to the river? We don't, right?
You can continue on, right? And this thing's just going to
Yeah.
take pot shots as you guys move through. So,
Yeah. So don't surface. That's stupid. Just surfacing the going on. That was the point of going in there underwater, so we wouldn't be detected. If I understand the plan correctly, maybe I don't. Who knows?
No, that is the basic understanding of the plan.
So I'm sending 17 and tell him, look, that is a swarm, and the swarm is doing a stupid thing. Keep them underwater.
Understood. I will tell them.
Okay.
And then 17 will little buzz droid will zip through the water, moving much more quickly than any of the others, because it does have a little bit of a propulsion system, and it's going to try to inform these things not to surface. Meanwhile,
Let's not call them things.
you're right. That was rich, stuck for words. Your fellow unit, members of your unit. Thank you. So 17 is going to try to tell those replacements to stay in the water and stay protected and move quickly forward. Sergeant Randar, you have. Go ahead.
No, I think Randar, now that he's got the rebreather back in, he's been able to get a good full breath. He's going to try and charge to the dock, to the bank where the fire's coming from. He's going to try and what he wants to do, what I would like to do, is use this engine and kind of get it really going, so it kind of pulls out of the water and gets him maybe up on the beach, up on the shore, or just goes towards them, because there needs to be the thought process is we're at the dock where we're getting to the creek. We need to at least make a little bit of a foothold there so that everybody can get up the river, whether they stay attached to their little engines, their motors or not. We're just getting, taken out. So something needs to give.
Okay.
So I think I
think you're going to charge, right?
I think I'm going to charge. Yeah.
Let's see how this goes.
And it's a -2, so I'm rolling with just a -1. Ooh-wee. And I get a 6. So I'm going to fail on that charge.
All right. So you
Could we give aid?
Yes, someone can give aid.
I'm gonna try that. I think I have a fairly good understanding of where the sergeant is. And I see that he's going towards the beach and out of the water. And I know that if we lose the sergeant, then this whole mission will absolutely fail. So I'm going to follow him and try to keep him alive.
That sounds awesome. Let's see you offer aid.
Yeah, and that's Valor. Which
it is. It's Valor to help. Is this your first roll after the call? I think it is. So you get your +1.
So I have that +1, which means I'm rolling flat because of the -2, right?
Yes.
That's a 10. Oh my god.
That's great.
Oh,
That's great. Okay, so on a hit, they receive +1 to their next roll and add 1 morale.
all right. I added the morale. That boosts me to a mixed success. So
You have
I
to make a
can-
choice.
I have to make a choice. I'm going to choose that we make serious gains, but at the cost of stamina. Mark stress. So I think we get exactly where we're going, but oh boy.
Okay. So you make your way up onto the surface, and you are closing on the heavy repeating blaster. I think you're close enough to where like they're trying to swing it around, and that trooper who's the spotter is going to have to step forward and fire on you. Binks, you're right there on it, offering the aid. So they're firing you, say maybe like a blaster bolt fires and glances off of Binks's shoulder. Grask, you're continuing on, and you're like sliding right underneath them, heading underneath the docks and making your way onward. A couple of the refreshed troops, including Lieutenant Thule, are following you because they're disoriented. So they don't really know
See
what's
you,
going
Lieutenant,
on.
now.
Sorry.
No, I just
A lot
want
of people have been getting promotions. Yeah.
My words are
Papa is
just
very, very quick. Okay, yeah.
my
Fine,
words are
I
getting all
mean,
mixed up. Things and
who
lieutenants
has
and crazy.
the communication stuff? That's Binks, right?
Yeah, we'll
Or
say
do we
that
all-
Binks has
Or do we
the,
all have stuff like that? Just
I think it would
how
make
did you handle it, Sergeant Randar? Let's say that there were a dozen like comm repeaters.
I think every refresh troop, those 6 each had 1. And then the 3 of us each have 2. I think it's spread out so like we can get gaps even if people get dropped. There's still going to be, if all of them were on one person, they would be weighed down in the river. It wouldn't make sense. And if they got, that's the whole plan gone. So I think everybody has a couple to build the lines.
Make sense?
okay. So then I'm just continuing because whatever they're doing, they're probably doing something very intelligent and clever. And if they're not doing that, or if they're getting shot doing something very intelligent and clever, we still have to follow the mission, right?
All right. So they are going, the stormtroopers are going to not worry about you because they have a battle droid and a pretty hardened Republic sergeant coming their way, while Private Thule and a few others are desperately swimming under the water underneath the docks, trying to avoid detection. So let's see here. I think what's going to happen is you had already charged, you made serious gains, so you're up on the surface, you're on the beach, and these guys are going to be firing upon you. So if you want to take cover, you can. Otherwise, you're going to need to move up close and personal.
Yeah.
Are we close enough that I could use my trooper move?
This is exactly when you should use your trooper move. Thank you for asking that.
Yeah, then I'm going to do that. Unless the sergeant tells me to hang back or something, which
No,
seems
you
unlikely.
yeah, Randar like starts weighing his options. He's like spitting out water. He's feeling terrible, looking at cover, looking at his pistol, and then you troop up, getting ready to wreck him. I'm all on board with that.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Let's see how it goes.
Yeah, so I'm rolling flat again.
And I will attempt to assist, laying down like some pistol fire, I think.
Cool. Go
Yeah,
ahead
cool.
and roll Valor to aid.
God. So.
Oh,
With a -2, no less. So I succeed on the aid.
Nice. You are the heck of a helper. So take that +1.
yeah. +1, and we get a morale, right?
Yep, we're up to 2 morale right now.
So I roll and get a 13.
Whoa!
Oh my god.
Holy man, that's the second boxcars of this game session. That's amazing. So on a hit, you clear the space of the enemy. What does that look like, you vicious thing, you?
Well, they were swinging around trying to fire on us, and the sergeant, I imagine he's a bit off to the side, firing on them, drawing their fire. And I think since I look a bit wonky, I have that unsteady gait a bit. They kind of discount me. They don't think I'm as big a threat. So when I bring up my sniper rifle, and I'm just hip shooting, I guess, with my with my other brain doing the aiming. So I'm basically just headshot,
That's tenacious.
as I march forward.
Wow. You clear it, and now you have this like big, heavy repeating blaster. Like this is the thing that got set up on a tripod to fire on Millennium Falcon in, if that rings a bell. Yeah, that thing. You have now secured that, Sergeant Randar. And but you secured it. I mean, your buddy Binks totally did that thing.
Yeah, Binks.
You were helping. You were helping all it.
I would like. Do I have an idea of where everyone in the section is? Like, has everybody started heading up the creek, or are there people still in the river?
Their bodies in the river. You lost 3.
We lost 3. All right, so there's us 3 and then 2 more privates out there somewhere. Okay. So everybody who's alive yet, are they in the river now? Or not the river, the creek, heading through the city?
The only ones out of the creek are Binks and you.
Okay.
Wait, how many privates did we get? We got 10? No, we were 10 to start with. We lost 3 in the river, right?
Yeah, and then you had
So
you were
it's
10 to start. 1 went AWOL. You lost
Mhm.
3 in the river, so
Yep.
you're down to 6. 3
Okay.
privates.
We
and the
lost
crazy.
1 right at the beginning of the river, and then we just lost 3 more, I believe, or 2 more. Yeah,
2 more.
So,
2 more.
okay.
And one of them basically drowned.
Oh, okay.
rip.
Yeah. So we've got 4 of them now.
No, I think there's us 3
And 3 more,
And
And
including
3 more. Okay.
Private Thule, who is not a
Okay.
lieutenant.
Okay. Private school and 2 other guys. Okay, but they're with me, right?
They're about to get names at this point. They've made it to the creek.
I think it's I think they're with you, Tarvo. You're Grass.
Okay.
You
Cool.
pushed forward through the dock. We stopped the fire. They stayed with you. I am wondering if we should fire off a few volleys along the line with this repeater, just to tear up their own dudes before we jump back in the water, Bings. So I think I'm gonna
Go ahead.
Yeah.
You go ahead. I'll cover you.
All right, I'm not much of a shot, but I take a swig from my canteen and I let loose on it, I suppose.
Do you want to take a swig?
Yes,
Like, do you
please.
actually literally want to take a swig? Go ahead.
Yes, please. I want to try and reduce some of the stress.
So you guys have successfully taken the beach. That is fulfilling the first of your objectives. All of you may mark 1 experience point.
Right. All right, and then I'm taking a swig, which is with Valor.
Mhm.
Right now, my Valor is -1, and I take a -1 for all my stress. So I'm at -2, plus the ongoing threat is 2.
So the threat now is down to a 1 because you
Okay.
do not have. So it's just to generalize all the craziness that's going on in Cyward, but you took out that emplacement, so it lowered your threat rating.
All right, so I'm rolling a -3. and I get a 0. Awesome. So
Your flask is empty.
oh no. Okay, great.
There's a hole in it.
That sounds about right for luck. So yeah, Randar grabs the flask out, undoes the cap, goes to tilt it, and then he just sees the water pour out the bottom, and it's just, oh great. He throws the canteen, and he just Binks get ready to get back in that water, and he wheels the blaster around on the Imperial Lions and just starts lighting it up.
Actually, I was thinking, or maybe it doesn't apply. I have this last one out move. When
it
you
could
are
totally
covering
apply
the
here.
section as they retreat, but I'm not sure if it applies because they get bonus on fall back, and that's maybe.
Dang it, we gotta set that up because that is a cool move for you.
Yeah,
Well,
fall back
fallback is
is when you
a
retreat
safe
to a
area.
safe area. That's probably not this.
Yeah, probably not, I guess. But we got to come back this way eventually, right?
Yeah, hopefully.
Or
you
maybe
guys-
maybe if I cover you, maybe it counts just for you going back into the water.
Ooh, yeah, let's do that. Does this sound fun?
Yeah, I'm into it.
Cool.
Let's
So-
see.
Binks, you're gonna roll that with the heavy machine gun, and I'm going to be rolling the fall back. Okay,
Yeah, that was my idea
got
or
it.
my thought. Yeah,
I love it.
cool. So that's Valor. So I'm rolling flat with the general penalty. And that's an 8. That's good enough. On a hit, you succeed, allowing your allies to get to safety. They get a +1 to their fall back move. On a 7 to 9, you mark stress. Yeah. So -1 to an attribute. I'm going to take a -2. I think my sensors are getting a bit overloaded, and my extra brain is kind of busy with all the targeting, and so there's just too much information, and this kind of sticks with me. My sensors aren't working properly.
Totally, that makes sense. And yeah, you start spraying hell on the stormtroopers that are trying to retake the heavy repeating blaster before they realize, oh, they've got to beat feet. Let's see if they can snipe off a shot on the sergeant, or if he successfully falls back, you get that +1 on the fall back.
Yep, I rolled so +1 gave me a flat roll, and I got an 8 on my fallback, which is a mixed success. That gives me I need to choose a complication, mark harm, mark stress, or I lose a personal item. I cannot afford any more stress. It is getting wild out there. I think I'm going to have to take harm.
Okay. Yeah, so I think it would be harm
I mean,
from.
you could lose your rebreather.
Ooh.
I mean, we don't need it really if we are going through
I wouldn't count the rebreather as a personal belonging or a personal item. It doesn't trigger the same warm fuzzy feelings as like the hollow portrait. And I think
if you want to lose someone's, like, the memories, not the memories, but like the memento you kept from a couple of your crew,
I actually don't think Randar would have brought that. I think knowing that they were going into the river, it was, I need to dump as much weight as possible. And a lot of what I was carrying is like, steel cigar cases and stuff like that. So I think Randar kept his one personal belonging on him, and the rest is like back at camp, as it were.
Okay. It totally makes sense.
And so, yeah, and I don't want to lose that just yet. So I'm going to take harm.
Okay. Makes sense. I think the harm that you take is blaster fire, right? They're just firing on this heavy repeating blaster because it's right in the middle of where a unit was coming back. They basically, the heavy repeating blaster called out, "Hey, we've got some enemies here coming up at this dock area," and this is the support group that was coming up, and they're trying to retake the heavy repeating blaster. They take heavy casualties because Binks, even though Overlord is still incredibly good at what they do, but one of them fires off a shot and hits you. Where do you get hit?
I think it's lightly wounded. It's my first harm. I think it singes past my right butt cheek. Just takes a big old graze out of the old cheek.
Nice.
Randar dives into the water.
Cool. So you successfully fend them off, Binks. You realize at this point you're going to have to give up the heavy repeating blaster if you want to continue on with the unit. I assume that's what you do, or do you want to try something different?
Yeah, I think I'm firing the heavy repeating blaster. They're still coming and firing. I don't want them to have it, but I can't really take it with me either. So I think, what I would like to do is try to rig one of my grenades on the blaster, so that so it blows basically when they try to use it.
Pull a pin. That sounds great.
I have no idea what move that would be.
Pull the pin. You're just using a
Pull
grenade.
the pin. Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. Let's do that. So I actually have a +1.
You're good at pulling pins.
Yeah. Let's see. And that's a 6.
Actually, we're going to use a morale point. That's a mix of stuff that work wings.
Yeah.
It's a good point to use a morale point for sure. All right. Yeah, you're gonna. So you inflict terrible harm on the enemy and cause chaos. In addition, choose one. It's on
Collateral
column
damage.
G. Do you see it? Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Collateral damage doesn't really make sense. I think I'll just take harm. Basically, as I'm retreating to the river, one of them hits me in the shoulder.
Yeah. And the thing that you're noticing here is these are stormtroopers you guys are dealing with now. It's no longer the Imperial troops that were manning the lines. These are the troops that were holding the city. And they're a little bit better shots than, say, in the original trilogy. But they're not demons. So one of them gets off a shot, hits you, and then you make it to the creek before that thing explodes and it takes out that stormtrooper unit. And you guys can buy yourselves a moment. So if you take a look at the NPCs and places in the map there, you now have made it up that creek. You can see that there is like this huge crane. And you guys have all 6 of you have made your way up the creek to the crane. You see ahead of you is the first bridge. And you've been told that, like, as a secondary mission, if you can complete it, is to take out those bridges as you go. So you guys can cut off and secure the northern part of the city, even if you don't successfully take out the fortress. You see that the troopers have pulled back, but Grask, you notice that it looks suspicious how they have pulled back. It just doesn't feel right as you guys are.
Have they noticed us? Or can we keep underwater so they won't?
No one has seen you. I think you and the other 3 privates have all successfully kind of snuck around.
Fine, so I can rig the bridge to below while I'm waiting for this Randar and Binks because they were behind me.
Yeah, that sounds
When?
good. Let's have you
Yeah,
I
I'm
guess-
rigging the bridge.
let's have you rig the bridge. Let's see. I think that's another
Pull the pin, I
pull
guess,
the
right?
pin, I think. Yeah. Are you using the thermal detonator or are you using a grenade?
Will the grenade do it?
Grenade should do it. Thermal
Okay,
detonator absolutely will destroy any bridge you've got.
Yeah. But
Grenade well
but
placed should do it too.
well, place grenade it is then. So let's see. That's with brawn, right? And we're at -1.
You are at
So-
-1.
I think I'm rolling flat there. -1 +1 for brawn. Yeah.
Yeah. Man, Randar, you're so stressed out right now. It just sucks.
Oh, I've rolled a 4, so no. No bridge kaboom.
Yeah, no bridge kaboom at all.
Mm-mm.
Whew. Okay. That is a bummer.
Yeah, it is. But we don't have. Oh well.
Yeah, I think here's what happens. You are in there trying to find the perfect place to place the grenade when you hear the sound of "Wooka, wooka, wooka," and when you look at underneath from the bridge, you see that there is an ATST that has been moved towards the sector. It's heading towards probably past you if you leave it be. But it's probably headed to wherever you guys, well, the head of the river.
So we'll have to face it
After-
at one point.
Yeah, after Binks and after Sergeant Randar. You pull the pin on this grenade right here and now, it's going to turn on you and fire in the water and blow you to hell.
No. I'm not pulling any pins here. I
Okay.
mean,
Probably good
I was waiting for the other two to arrive before I was pulling any pins because we had to pass the bridge before blowing it up.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't have made sense anyway else.
There'd be
So,
so much
okay.
debris you couldn't really, you couldn't
Yeah.
easily.
So, okay, this is not a total catastrophe, maybe. 17, can you contact Binks? Because they need to know about this thing going their way.
I will do so.
Good. And then I'm waiting, like, am I waiting? This is not, well, yeah, this is part of the mission, so I'm waiting.
I think the other privates are like, they're belly crawling with their little rebreathers. Because remember, you've reached the part of the
Yeah.
creek where it's like you could
It's
stand
really-
up in this water.
Yeah, no, we're not standing up here. We're
Yeah,
staying
probably,
down.
probably good.
We can
to see.
hide under the bridge a little bit, have a little bit more cover there. So
Okay.
that,
Yeah, you guys are hiding underneath the bridge as the
Yeah.
ATST passes by.
mhm.
And I think, Randar, once you get past you beat feet and you're back down in the creek, I don't imagine that underwater comm unit is going to make a whole lot of sense. So this buzz droid is going to have to like swim up on you. And luckily, you recognize 17 because you've seen it a number of times.
Send him to Binks actually,
Oh, you
because they
sent him to
can
Binks,
they can binary at each other.
Right. There you go. So Binks, you have just given up dropped the pin on the explosion when 17 makes its way back down the river towards you to, via binary, inform you that an armored transport scout troop, all-terrain scout trooper. Sorry, Rich, it didn't have that. Rich's brain flipped out the 2 T's. An all-terrain scout trooper is ahead. Transport,
Yeah.
all-terrain
Transport. Yeah.
scout
Right.
transport. Thank you. I do it. If you asked me in regular times, I would have said it's a lieutenant. And no, anyway.
Yeah, and the sergeant is already back in the water, I assume. So
Yes, he has successfully retreated. You covered him.
yeah, I think all I can do is follow him, probably, but I try to stay like at the edge of the creek, so I can look up occasionally and try to spot the ATST.
You do. It's an ATST. They are not made for sneaking around. It is headed towards where the explosion that you just caused. And then it's going to backtrack its way to try to find you guys.
Well, I still have a grenade.
You do.
I'm not sure if I should just leave it be and hope we can avoid it when it comes back.
And I'm going to say that Randar's like right near you. It's just that 17
Yeah.
doesn't communicate with him because binary.
Yeah, I'll grab Randar and basically pull him up enough out of the water that I can talk to him. And I point out I just point out the ATS to you. Basically, it's there.
And it's like it's chicken walking right past you guys. You could hear the thudding, but now you put 2 and 2 together. And you now have a new objective. Take out the ATST. You succeeded. Everybody gets an XP.
Well, then we have to do it.
Can I post up one of the recon repeaters, and then I want to try and contact the forces pushing into the south to let them know that this exists, that this is a new threat that's here.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, if you want to, let's see. I think there is at least one move.
Work wallet. Well, it's not a rest, that's for sure.
I don't think you're pushing. I think just communicating. I think you can just do that thing. The only risk is that somebody might overhear you, but you guys cleared out that entire unit, so yeah, you can reach out.
Okay. Yeah. So jam in one of the repeaters into the shore side, and then get on the comm. Lieutenant Hula, whichever men are in charge of the current incursion on Skyward, we have an ATST here on the eastern portion of the city, walking across the bridge. It's heading towards the beach.
Nice. And I think
Sergeant, it's Hula. Good to hear you made it to the shore at least. Yeah, we've got eyes on that ATST. Can you take it out?
Do you want us to get into our first objective, or do you want us to fight this ATST, sir?
Continue on. I'll see if we can get the X-Wings to circle around for it.
We just need its attention taken up for a little bit so we can get past, sir.
See what I can do.
All right, thank you. Affirmative, Roger, whatnot. And then he, I close the comm and kind of do some motions with Binks, waiting, listening. We're gonna wait until we hear either an X-Wing come screaming over and start firing at that ATST, or anything taking shots at it. My hope, I guess what I'm thinking as Cody, the player, is I'm hoping that something will get its attention to allow all of us to get past it under the bridge and move on without getting its attention.
so. When you Grask, 17 comes back, informs you what's going on, informs you that Sergeant Randar has called in effectively an airstrike. And you've realized that an X-Wing bombing this area could be pretty bad for you.
Yeah, that's true. So we probably just, you know what, go ahead with the original mission. Because, I mean, we leave the grenade. They hope, I'll leave 17. I hope it can get itself to safety. It's a lot faster than we are. And so it can point out the grenade if the other two come by in the bridge, because I don't want to blow the bridge right now.
All right,
Or
so you're
do
not
I?
going to blow the. I don't know. Do you?
I mean, can they pass if I blow the bridge? That's the question.
If you blow the bridge, there'll be debris. They'll have to move out of the creek itself. They'll need to move out of the water. But I mean, it's not impossible. It just makes them a little bit more exposed.
No, I don't want to explode. I just want to, I leave the grenade and leave something that tells them where the grenade is so they can blow the bridge. They're still behind me. So push
Mhm.
ahead. There will be more bridges. We don't have enough grenades as is.
Okay, so you're going to continue on.
Yeah, because I mean, we have to get, where do we have to get?
Well, you basically need to drop comm buoys and take out the bridges. So if you can get all the way
Okay.
to the last bridge, then you're part of this crazy work. It's basically, if you see there is the central, like
How many bridges
almost
are
a
there?
nipple. Well, that's what I was going to try to point out. So you see the thing almost looks like a little nipple in the river. There are two
Oh.
bridges past that. That fourth, or that effectively fifth, because there's actually a bridge that heads and cuts across that little area. That fifth bridge is the last bridge that you guys need to take out. And if you drop comm buoys along that way, then communication will be set up in Cyward for the
Okay.
Republic Expeditionary Force.
So just to be clear here, I'm looking at the picture. We have the first, we're in the river, the first bridge, second bridge, and then there's the third that is the large one.
Mm-hmm.
And six, okay. So I think we'll go to dropping, we'll start dropping convoys, go
Okay.
to the middle, go to the third bridge. And since I only have one explosive left, I feel that that might be the one that is most interesting to blow up.
Okay, so you're going to make your way to the third. Let's have you blend in.
Yeah, I'm trying to make my way to the third. And blending in, that's with wits, that gives me +1, I think. And I'm rolling dice. Oh, can I have some morale here, please?
I was going to ask it, is there any chance that the airstrike acts as a distraction, makes it easier for grass to blend in? Could I roll aid to perchance make that happen?
Yeah,
would be
let's do
nice.
that. Let's see.
That will be cool because I'm at 6 right now.
All right.
With successful aid, you will have that distraction and you'll pull this off.
Cool.
So I'm rolling with Valor for aid. It's Valor's 1. I have a -1 for stress, and it's a -1 for threat. So just -1.
Okay.
Just -1.
Yeah, I know.
Just
So
only.
easy.
Can I get a?
Oh wow.
Oh man.
No.
Oh, yeah. I think what happens is that you start to set that grenade, but you end up having to expose yourself. And there was a sniper up in one of the buildings. As the X-Wing comes by and takes out the ATST, you think that's your moment. You pop up to out of the water, and that's when you get sniped. Take harm.
Okay. That's okay. Oh.
And yeah, so are you lightly wounded by that? I think.
Yeah, I'm
That's
lightly
your first
wounded.
harm.
Yeah, it's my first one.
Yeah, so you drop back down. You got hit, but you realize that they have a bead on you.
Damn.
And they're just waiting. So what
Okay.
do you want to do? Randar and Binks are moving up to first bridge, so they'll have the ability to try to pull the pin on that grenade. But you're all by yourself with 3 greens. What do you want to do with your 3 green privates?
I'll tell them to go up the river and drop the communication buoys so that we have that covered, right? They just, that's fine. That's what they're supposed to do. And they stay underwater. And I will then, I mean, there is a sniper, but you know, somebody who is a sniper can also be shot, I guess. I've heard that, right?
Yeah, it's happened.
I've heard that. So I will wait a little until hopefully the first bridge blows. So I have a little distraction there.
Mm-hmm. And then you'll
then I
take an
will-
action. So you're
And
hanging tight, hoping for the situation. to
yeah,
change.
I hope for the situation to change a bit, and then I will pull the trigger. No, not to pull the pin. Pull the trigger. Pull the trigger. Yeah.
Yeah, you want to fire on. Okay, so
Yeah. I mean, I've got to get rid of that guy.
all right. 17 has informed you, Binks, that there is a grenade at the first bridge for you to pull.
Then I will do that as we pass, I guess.
Cool. So Randar, super stressed out. You not feeling awesome either. You go ahead and pull the pin. Let's see how this goes. You taking out the
Yeah,
first bridge.
so that's a +1, right? Total? No, wait, you? Yeah, right. Because I have a +2, but there's a general -1.
Correct.
Yes. Oh, a 10.
Nice, man. You are just aces today. On a
Yeah.
10, you inflict terrible harm on the enemy and cause chaos. So you take out the first bridge while the X-Wing, manned by Gemma Fodi, takes out the ATST to cover your flank. And yeah, you guys successfully achieve another part of that objective. You have helped to take out the ATST. Everyone may mark
Hey.
1 XP.
Cool. Is that the
Yeah.
moment for me to shoot at this guy?
It is. Go ahead and pull the trigger. I think there's a little bit of a
No,
surprise
think-
there.
I think I have to pull the trigger, right? Not to pull the pin. So it's with
thought it said
I,
trigger.
which
Sorry,
is
I meant
not.
to.
Yeah, you did. I'm just
I just want to get credit when I use the right word. I've had several malaprops this game.
yeah, it's cool.
That's
I'm
all.
rolling with I think I'm rolling with -1
I think you
for
are.
the tension.
Because it would be flat and then
that is. But I've rolled boxcars, so yeah. You know what?
Fourth boxcars of the game. That is
Yeah.
meant to
Yeah.
be.
Well, so my shot is on target.
Yeah, it is. Your shot is on target. What does it look like when you take out that sniper?
I think that when the bridge blows and the the X-wing drops in, that sniper is a bit distracted and he looks out and looks over at the first bridge like, what's going on there? Should I be there? And then, well, I've been waiting for this. I knew this would happen, at least the bridge thing would happen. So I'm just pulling my blaster and yeah, shooting him, and he falls off his perch and then, well, yeah, drops to the ground and is probably fine. No, he's not. He's not. Who am I kidding? He's not
super
fine.
dead. Super dead. Yeah,
Yeah.
you hit that trooper right in his little bucket head, and I think those little your little green recruits, the privates, they're like, yeah, Lieutenant Trask, you're amazing. Private
Shut
Fool says.
the fuck up, you stupid. You are supposed to drop the buoys, not to shout around.
No, we did. We dropped a buoy.
Good. Now shut up. Let's set the trigger here, and then we need to see if we need not to blow any more bridges. Okay.
Alright.
I'm that by that point I hope that our Sarge will arrive and
Yeah,
have more grenades to blow up the other. We have 3 more bridges to, and getting 4 grenades to blow up 5 bridges. Are they kidding us?
I mean, yeah, I guess, they gave you what they had. It's what it is. You even got a
And
thermal.
they
damage.
expected us to work miracles. They always do, Tarvo.
Yeah. We have 3. They gave me 3 explosives, so that's not even grenades.
So you guys have taken out the first 2 bridges, and I think we'll end this session with the 6 of you now kind of in the creek. You're hunkered underneath that little central bridge. And that's where we will end today's session, our next to last session. You guys are taking Cyward and freeing the planet of Lavasar. Such heroes. Not at all scary.
Not
Did
at
we
all.
drop all the communication buoys that we should have? Because that would mean another XP, and then I could have an advance.
Let's say that yes, you dropped enough communication buoys to fulfill that objective.
You already have an advance, Sabine. You have 4.
do?
It only takes 4 for an advance.
Oh,
Yeah,
it
it's only
only
4
takes
for an
4.
advance.
Oh, okay. Then forget that question. But I'm fine with move. Where are my moves? I figured that out.
Okay. Let's quickly go through Stars and Wishes. This Rich almost fell back to the old Roses and Thorns, but I don't do that anymore. I do Stars and Wishes. So we'll start with Wishes so we can end with Stars. Who'd like to go first for offering up Stars and Wishes?
I'll go first for wishes. It's tough. I don't know that this is quite a wish that we can fulfill really. I think we saw in that first chunk of the game, Ross Rifles isn't designed for any sort of downtime. So I think that was tough. It feels like. So I guess a wish would be that we lean into what it is built for, which is like these clear objectives, pushes, combats. Because I think it really sings when we do that. So I guess that's what I'm trying to say. I don't know what I'm saying.
Oh, exactly what you're saying. You're saying, hey, let's for our last session, let's make sure we have enough objectives strung together to where we're hitting on all cylinders with what the game's designed to do, right? That's what I hear. Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying. You heard it.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
actually, my wish would be the absolute contrary, because I don't want to do mission without any kind of breaks in between. That's just, I know the game is made for this, but it's kind of nice, but I like the first part better.
Yeah,
So,
I guess I should have been clear, because there are the moves for when we have that brief reprieve where we're able to look for intelligence, where we're able to work on stuff and strategize. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Yeah.
So let's have a little, we can go for more missions. I don't mind that. I knew what I was signing up for, but and we need to recuperate, I guess, because otherwise we'll be dead by mid-session, all of us next time.
That's not untrue. that is true. It is a brutal, punishing game. And now I think one of my wishes that I'll just throw in, interrupting Under's turns, I'm now going to name our other 2 privates so that it hurts more if they die. Cool. All right. Sabine, did you have any other wishes to throw out?
I would wish for better rolls, but I guess no, that is not. We roll pretty well, so that's not really realistic.
I've never seen so many boxcars.
Yeah, it's true. We keep this up, I guess.
Cool. Anders, what about you? What wishes did you have?
Yeah, I think I'm with Sabine on wanting to have at least a little bit of, maybe not necessarily downtime, but at least a break in the action. That would be nice. And this is more of a general thing and not really a wish. Again, a wish we can fulfill. But I feel like sometimes I feel like the game is missing some moves, either that or we're playing it like in a different way. Because I feel like this, when you're calling for support or asking for orders or directions from someone higher in the chain of command, those kind of feel like they should be moves.
I agree. I very much feel the lack of asking for aid. Like I would really love a calling in support move a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe that's accurate because it was, I mean, calling in fire support wasn't something a sergeant could do in the First World War, but here it feels appropriate. And also, I would like some kind of mechanical tracking of NPC soldiers. Like it's a consequence that you lose one of the other members of the section.
Yeah, that almost like that piece in Night Witches where it's like you have 4 harm to split between you and your co-pilot, something like that, where options within certain moves are lose a section mate, and yeah, I could see that. That's interesting.
Yeah. But otherwise, that's it.
Those are good wishes. I appreciate them. So we'll stick with you for stars. What stars would you like to hand out?
Yeah, I really liked the downtime part, and I think it worked okay with the moves that are there. I felt like when we did something, we could find a move that worked for it. So I think that was okay, and it was enjoyable to do something other than the, action, just action. Even though that part is fun too, but the variety is good. I really enjoyed everyone's characters, and it was, I think, I particularly enjoyed Randar having to both wrangle the lieutenant and the new recruits, and trying to strike that balance.
Cool. Thank you, Anders. Sabine.
Yeah, I like the session. I like the downtime. Even though we didn't have any great moves to make contact with for exactly dealing with superiors and stuff like that. I mean, there's the requisition move that is, I think, one of the few dealing with NPCs moves. So yeah, but I loved the way that we all interacted in these conditions. I also like the way you're structuring the missions, Rich, so that they I mean, I've only been there for the second session, but this feels different. So it was interesting to see where this was going and how we would do this, and I'm pretty curious to see how it will go next time. So yeah, go ahead.
Cool. Thank you, Sabine. I appreciate that. Cody, wrap it up for us. What stars did you have?
Yeah, stars to everybody again. I love Grask, Tarvo, and Binks. I think they're just such great characters. Grask is always on the prowl for like some benefit, some scavenge, some edge, and I think that's great. I really enjoyed it, and it makes sense. I mean, that you're right. That plays almost specifically for when there's downtime. And so I think what it is Ross Rifles is a trench warfare game. So you're always on downtime, but then you're also always firing. Like it's in a trench, you're not moving anywhere, but you're constantly like running around. And I think maybe that's where that like disconnect is. But so that makes sense for why, your moves work that way. But anyways, Tarvo's great. Love him. Binks, the whole second mind that's happening and what you've done with it is wonderful. Rich, I think what we're seeing is like this game isn't the easiest one to hack for our purposes, and I think you're doing a really great job of finding what needs to be added or finding ways to make things work, because it definitely felt like there's these moments where it's like, okay, well then I guess I'm doing this. I'm not sure if the move makes sense, and then sometimes you're saying yes it does, or oh, you're just communicating we'll just do that because right now we don't have a move for it, but we want the game to continue. So I just think it's a lot of fun. I'm having a great time.
Good. I appreciate that. And thank you for being open to I don't think we're going to fire a move here. Cause like, I think like I think the moves are pretty well considered, and I also feel like I'm a little bit off the map. And you brought it up just a moment ago by saying this is built for trench warfare. Well, you guys aren't doing trench warfare. You didn't do that at all this session. Like you weren't even in the trenches. The closest thing is being in a creek. So I'm putting it through its paces to see how flexible it is, and there'll be some points where we just say that a thing happens because there isn't a move to engage. I do, Anders, completely agree with you that the calling in for support as a move would be super cool. And the hack of this, don't know if it's perfectly suitable for World War One, but in this, which to me, like we've moved from World War One to almost a little bit of like a Vietnam simulation in a way. Like that's what's going on in my head, is a little bit of Full Metal Jacket, a little bit of Platoon going on, versus before was definitely the trench warfare. That like a calling in for support would be a thing I just may well hack into the game before next week, just because my brain won't let me not. But you guys are so flexible, and I especially love how Cody's like going to do a thing, and I'm just like, I have a move that my guy does this thing real well, and Cody's totally happy to step back. No harm, no foul. That's great team play, and I really appreciate and admire that. And it was great to have Sabine, to have Grask back in, and you're just like the way you described the horror of the personal horror of going into the water, just on point. I'm so happy that I kind of passed the baton to you to see how that affected Grass, because it was spectacular. Really, really enjoyed this session. You guys were awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, just to add to that last part, I really liked how Grask was both trying to kind of grift the new recruits, but also helping them once we were in the action. I like that.
They're future customers, right? So
They're keeping him alive. It's basically it. That they're, and also, I mean, Grass talks a lot about being hard-hearted and he hates everybody, but they're just babies. What are they doing here?
yeah, they are. And Grask is actually a really heroic figure, just with a mouth on him, which I love. It's so good. Awesome. I will bring this session to a close. Thank you all so much for playing.